Hey everyone, have I here bring a video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In this video, we're going to be discussing the history of the worldwide download celebration. This is the 2023 update. So with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So I had a great time making this video last year. I figured I'd do the update, but it's going to be a little bit more streamlined on this one versus last year's. If you want to watch last year's, I would say I would have a lot more information, and I just wanted to quickly go through this little update here. So let's go ahead and get started. In something I mentioned in my first video, the original one, that the worldwide download celebration is a global celebration, meaning the global version of the game started it all. It wasn't until we reached 50 million global downloads we had this beginning celebration that again started on the global version of the game. And back in 2016, May of 2016, we introduced the AGL Dokkan Festival exclusive Goku, which we already had on JP, but this was a part of the celebration for global. And you're going to see a few of these units happen, and then ultimately, you know, in the future, we have now this celebration where both versions of the game gets the new unit. So after 2016, we ended up, the global ended up having a bunch of different units come out for the 60 million celebration, 7777, 80 million, 90 million part 1, 90 million part 2, but really wasn't until the 100 million when we ended up getting 2 amazing units. And it had another big celebration, which is the 100 million global download celebration. So back in 2016 again, but in October versus May, so just a few months from the original $50 million celebration, global ended up getting the introduction for the Dokkan Festival exclusive Super Vegito and the physical Broly. Now, Super Vegito back in the day, if you don't remember, broke the game, right? This was a unit that you pretty much used all the time, and this was a very exciting time for global, finally getting this unit introduced on that version of the game. But again, JP's already had it, and these download celebrations were generally for the global version of the game. So after that, you actually saw a skip of 120 million. It just went straight to 130 million, and then for the first time, JP ended up celebrating the download celebration, because during that time, Global was still introducing new units and didn't really have another spot for another celebration. So as you can see, Omega Shenron was introduced in the 130, and on the JP version of the game, I believe they're starting like it was Boo, I think, back in the $140 million million download celebration. But anyway, it wasn't something that was a part of Global, right? It was the first time that JP had a separate celebration while Global was catching up with units. So not until the 150 million download celebration, we ended up back in April 2017, where we had this incredible banner, this 150 million download banner, this Dokkan Fest banner with all the the OG 90 units there, Super Vegito breaking the game, and now kind of moving into the Neo Gods, right? So the original gods into the Neo Gods. But of course, they had to introduce these really, really hype units when they came out, was the Vegito Blue and the Rose. These two units, boy, I remember going all in on these. And remember, the anime was still going on, and they introduced these units kind of toward or around the where the anime here. These units, of course, already were introduced prior to on JP, but it was amazing that I remember summoning on these banners and going kind of all out on these, and not really relevant today, but a lot of nostalgia going back in April of 2017. So moving on then to the 160 million celebration was actually the introduction of Trunks and Murzumasu. So as you can see, the reason why I kind of mentioned this now, of course, the Future Saga is coming back in full circle for 6 years from now or ago, from 2017 now to 2023, and that was more of a global celebration. As mentioned before, Trunks and Zamasu just like a lot of these other units were introduced on JP before, so we finally ended up getting the Spirit Sword Trunks and the Murzumasu. JP at the time was provided the 120% mono leads, right? So we had the Super Saiyan 3, I believe that was physical Gotenks that JP was celebrating at the time. So after the 160, we had a 170 for Global, and then 180 and 190, JP celebrated that as Global was continuing to add on and catch up units. But the big change came actually here at the 200 million download celebration. Right here, it changed everything. It's really what we're still doing now is category leads. And this was also the biggest issue of one of the biggest issues of Global Dokkan versus JP Dokkan, because categories wasn't really even introduced on the global version of the game yet, and the leader skill was to be released on global when the Gogeta and Omega Shenron came out. It was one of the worst mistakes global ever did, and for those who are still around back in 2017, the end of July there, it was pretty hilarious that we could not use their leader skill and we were still able to summon on these banners. So, but this also marked the end of kind of random celebration campaigns. And in 2018, we started what we are experiencing now, which is toward the end of August, toward the beginning of October, is the worldwide celebration, the download celebration. We know that is going to happen. So again, in 2018, on the 27th until 10/3 was the celebration, and this was the $250 million download celebration. And then the introduction of the transforming Goku and Frieza. So those two units were cool. I think people were okay. The leader skill was interesting. I think they could have done it better, because the 200 million celebration over here was category leads, and then they just went back to extreme type and super type on there. So I'm not sure why they kind of took a step back. However, the part 2, and this is what we're getting used to now, part 1 and part 2 in the worldwide celebration, was the introduction of LR Friku. And LR Friku was 177% category lead, and everyone kind of lost their mind, and they're like, okay, now we're going to go 100 to 180% to 190%. Little did we know we're going to stay at 170% for multiple years, and that random 177% leader, I don't know what they were thinking at the time. So, but anyway, with LR Friku coming out, that was in 2018. So now, instead of like months in between, just from the 200 million up to the 200 million, now we're basically every single year we're getting this celebration. So in 2019, we were now introduced with our first Dokkan Festival exclusive LRs in the worldwide celebration, because generally it was designed that the anniversary was mostly the Dokkan Festival exclusive LRs. So they're now making the big deal here when it comes to worldwide celebration, because I think a lot of people, or they found out that a lot of people were spending a lot of money, and they're like, okay, we got to make this happen. We're going to bring everybody together. Like, like people come in during the anniversary spending a lot of money. Let's bring both games together and see what we're going to do. Introduce the same characters on both versions of the games, and now we're going to do Dokkan Festival exclusive LRs as well. So when they introduced Super Saiyan Gohan and Perfect Cell, those two units were really incredible, especially the Gohan. I think the Gohan with the Kamehameha leader was top notch for a long time. Now Cell, of course, not too many people like Cell. His skill was beneficial down the road as a 30% healing and a kind of a pre-revival type of unit, right? You're able to heal when your HP is under 30%, but yeah, I remember a lot of people were disappointed in Cell, but really, really hyped with the Gohan. And Gohan is still amazing now, right, with their EZA. So interestingly enough, those units EZA'd, right, the Gohan and Cell, but LR51 is still not EZ8 yet. So I'm thinking somewhere maybe during the countdown here, we might get a little special EZ8 to LR51. We'll see. We'll see if they actually end up doing that. I don't know when they're ever going to EZ8 that unit. So in 2020, then we actually celebrated our first worldwide celebration that wasn't a download celebration. So this was up to 300 million. We didn't hit 350, and they just called it the worldwide celebration. And this was the introduction of LR Super Vegito and Buhan. Now these are the first units we haven't seen on the worldwide celebration that hasn't EZA'd yet, right? So we're hoping that these two units will, either during the celebration or toward the end, or part of like EX, and make these units usable again. And of course we have Angel Vegeta as the yellow coin LR that was derived there. And as you can tell, this grouping, right, when it came with the dual Dokkan Fest and the yellow coin LR, this part 2 really wasn't very exciting, and there weren't really many people summoning on that banner due to the fact that the yellow coin LR generally wasn't very good, except for the 2018, right? LR Friku was outstanding, but LR 51 wasn't very good. Angel Vegeta wasn't very good. So, and really it's just because of the leader skill was so behind when it came to 170, and they're still doing it at 130. 2021 was the Namek Goku and Frieza, and then you also then had a dual, 2 new LRs on a yellow coin banner. Again, those 2 units really weren't all that great, and the banner themselves kind of failed. But this was also the end of Dokkan Festival exclusive LRs at the 170 mark leader skill, because in the following year, in the anniversary, we were introduced with the 200% leads, right? The 170% with the 30% boost. So this kind of marked the end of the Dokkan Festival exclusive LRs that provided 170% or above. And this was the $350 million celebration. So of course we skipped the worldwide celebration, and then now it's the 350. And then last year was another worldwide celebration, wasn't a download celebration, just a worldwide celebration, and that was the Cooler and just the Cooler movie. One of the best download or worldwide celebrations ever. Right, the hype when this was incredible, and due to the fact it was the introduction of a new rarity, and that was the Carnival featured LRs. I would say Cooler is still one of the best, if not the best, extreme leader for his team, and then the Birdku is still a super relevant unit. I think Joint Forces, Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta is underrated. Along with Metal Cooler, they have their place. Like Joint Forces is an incredible team. They're the weakest part of that team, but still pretty incredible. So in 2022, they dropped the mic on this one. It was very good. A lot of people really enjoyed it. The promotion and the lead up to it was great, and I think they're really continuing to do that. As of course the 2023 celebration is Future Saga, and this was recorded before the units have been promoted, and I've talked about, okay, what do I expect these units actually to be. I don't know yet. This is still just speculation here. I've shown this slide in many other videos, but who knows what this is going to be. But it kind of again reminds me of way back when in the 150 million celebration here, with the introduction of Vegito Blue, Rose, Spirit Sword, Trunks, and Zamasu on the global version of the game. And now we have in 2023 the worldwide download celebration or worldwide celebration. We actually don't know if it's going to be 400 million or just a worldwide celebration, because I don't know if we've hit 400 million, right? So I'm still wanting a Hakai Beerus. Of course, everyone's wanting a Vegito Blue, and then maybe just a different base form Goku Black as well. Going to be very interesting. I'm excited, but again, I wanted to make this update here for the history of the worldwide celebration, because this is where we basically have ended up, and now we are going to be in the Future Saga in 2023. So very excited for that. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video here, and if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Keep on Dokkaning. We'll catch you next time. Later.